morning, everyone, and thank you for being with us this morning. This is actually our seventh training webinar of AgrifoodTEF. So in case you have already joined our webinar, you know that all these webinars are free trainings that we offer to explain a little bit better what AgrifoodTEF is and what are the services that our team is developing. In case you are very new to agrifoodTEF and to this type of training, I will also provide a little bit of details in the first slides. My name is Rita Gioffrida. I am from Trust IT Services, that is the company that takes care of communication and dissemination activities of agrifoodTEF. And today I will moderate the webinar together with my colleague Jan Atik from the University of Wageningen, who is the expert of ELSA Scan. A few information about the training today. After a very short, let's say, welcoming and an introduction of AgrifoodTEF from me, then I will pass the floor to Jan, who will dive into the ELSA scan, so you can really understand how ELSA scan works and what are all the benefits of it. After that, we have thought of having an interactive session all together where we can also ask you a couple of questions about ELSA Scan. And at the very end, we can also have a Q&A session all together. For people that are new to our trainings, I would like also to spend a couple of words about AgrifoodTEF and all the main objectives of this project. The project is co-funded by the European Commission, and it is one of the testing and experimentation facilities let's say, in Europe. In particular, AgrifoodTEF is focused on using AI, data, and robotic solutions in real agriculture and food environments. And also our aim is really to help, let's say, the industrial environment to arrive to the market in a faster and more efficient way. Throughout our journey, we also aim to cooperate with the EDIHs, and we mostly organize all the trainings for them. But anyway, all the training that we're offering are also accessible and useful also for the industrial environment. And we really hope that through the cooperation with the EDIHs and with the industrial environment, we can also strengthen the innovation ecosystem in Europe. With this, I will pass the floor to Jan, and who let's say, who will introduce himself, and then will also explain what ELSA Scan is. Thank you again, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rita, for the introduction and introducing me briefly. My name is Jan Atik from Wageningen Social and Economic Research, and today I will present our ELSA Scan service. And as a legal researcher, I will focus on the legal side of this ethical, legal, social aspects, structure, and our service. Just to start, feature of agri-food with AI and robotics is bursting with potential. Think smarter farms, healthier food systems, and more sustainable practices. And for instance, self-driving tractors, drones, and robotic harvesters will handle planting, weeding, and harvesting with minimal human input. Robots can work 24/7, increasing productivity and reducing labor shortages. And AI will analyze soil, weather, crop data, and optimize irrigation, fertilization, etc. And AI systems will forecast crop diseases, market trends, and climate risks, helping farmers make proactive decisions. And these tools will learn over time, adapting to local conditions, improving accuracy season by season. Wearables and vision-based AI will track animal health, behavior, nutrition in real time. Early detection of illness or stress will improve welfare and reduce losses. Also, robotics will automate sorting, packaging, and quality control in food production. In some cases, AI can detect contaminants and spoilage faster than human inspections and ensuring safer food. And AI will help reduce water and fertilizer use, cut emissions, and monitor biodiversity. Robotics can support regenerative practices like cover cropping and no-till farming. So in brief, AI and data-driven technologies are transforming this sector. Next slide, please. And this will generate faster decision-making on the field, virtual agronomy advice, resource saving, and better yield forecasting, as I have mentioned with multiple examples. Next slide, please. But we have also other aspects here, apart from the workability of the technology. AI and data-related tools, technologies, solutions are critical, but we need to think about the other implications: environment, social, economic, sustainability-related things. Next slide, please. So we have ethical, legal, and social aspects structure in this. For instance, the ethical part, we focus on ethical issues in AI use in agriculture. Ethical issues can be privacy, transparency, or bias of AI decisions. Or from the legal part, we basically focus on recent EU regulations that I will explain in detail in the second part of this presentation. And also national legal frameworks based on the specific case that we handle. But also we mention or we focus data protection, intellectual property, or liability related aspects of a technology development in agriculture. And also social part is broad, that can cover labor implications, consumer behavior. Also under the social pillar, we include economic considerations, environmental considerations, etc. So with all these three aspects, we would like to have a kind of holistic evaluation of a technology in agriculture. Next slide, please. So in our ELSA lab at Wageningen University, we are working on this issue for a long time. And in this year, for instance, there is a very valuable publication focusing on AI use in agri-food sector and the prominent ethical, legal, and social aspects. So we have these 23 aspects, and these aspects are guiding us when considering a case and potential ethical issues or legal or social issues. For instance, in ethical part, we have transparency, justice, freedom and autonomy, responsibility. From the legal part, as I mentioned, liability, sometimes even human rights, and regulations, as I mentioned, and standardization, data ownership. That's one of the hot topics in the field. Who controls data? Who has what rights over it? And social part, we have different identified aspects. So this is important because we use this know-how in our ELSA Scan service as well. When developing the ELSA Scan questions, we are dependent on these aspects and these specific perspectives. This paper identified all these aspects based on a comprehensive literature review regarding the AI use in agriculture. We tried to map the most prominent issues discussed from different perspectives, so we reached this conclusion. So next slide, please. In agrifoodTEF project, we have an ELSA Scan service under the work package 3 conformity testing part. As you know, agrifoodTEF project is a testing and experimentation facility project, and we have services for the agri-food stakeholders, technology developers, and our ELSA Scan service is one of them. So this service I will explain more from now on, and the main purpose of our service is to help technology developers in the very early stage, because in our observation most of the tech developers, engineers are focusing more on the workability of a technology, whether it's technically working, whether it solves the thing that they are focusing on, but there can be social implications of this new technology. There can be ethical issues related to that technology development. Also, there may be important legal frameworks that needs to be complied during the design. So if these aspects are neglected at the early stage of the technology development, then it may be really costly and difficult to adapt the already developed technology. So we promise the customers compliance by design in the early stage. So if they work with us in the early development stage, they can be aware of the different aspects apart from the technical workability, so that they can take into account in their technical design, in their governance design, in their all aspects of their service or technology or product. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is our service listed in the AgrifoodTEF service catalog. As I mentioned, we focus on the early stage cooperation with the technology developers and to help them comply with ethical, legal, and social aspects. And also, it's important to mention that for the aspects, we don't consider this only, not this one, please, the previous one. Yeah, we don't consider the aspects as a kind of negative term. So it's not necessary to find out problems of a technology development. It can also be possible to explore together the opportunities, how to make the technology better, or how to increase the positive impacts over society, or how to make it more ethically sensitive, etc. So we consider both risks and opportunities at the same time with the customers. So that's one of the most important features of our service. Next slide, please. So as I said, we have an ELSA lab in Wageningen University, and in AgrifoodTEF we have this ELSA Scan service, but we use this know-how in other projects as well. For instance, in Common European Agricultural Data Space project, we also run our ELSA scans adapted to the data sharing setting, because originally it's developed for AI use in agriculture or IoT technologies in agriculture. But we also currently running this know-how kind of ELSA scan structure in other projects like data sharing setting, organizational and governance of a kind of data exchange hub. So that's also important to mention. Next slide, please. So how do we do this ELSA scan? So basically it's a three-step service. The first step, we send an ELSA survey to our customers before the interviews. So the customer can fill this survey. There are questions about their operations, their technology, their key stakeholders, so that we understand them better before the interview. We can prepare our interviews by knowing better the service, the technology that we are processing. And in the interview, we have 10 questions developed by the literature and the research. I've mentioned our ELSA lab is focusing on these different aspects. We have some, as I said, 23 ELSA aspects, and the questions are designed to include all these aspects. So when we ask the questions during the interviews, we are open to identify these prominent issues. So in the third step, after interviews, we process the interview results, the answers of the customers, and we report the summary of our ELSA scan. We highlight the most important ELSA aspects, And we mention about the risks, opportunities, and possible actions to be taken by the customer. So the next slide, please. So this is an iterative process normally. If the customer would like to run another round of ELSA scan, that can help the increased ELSA performance. For instance, if new case arrives, we run the steps that I have mentioned, and we expect an increased ELSA performance. And after that stage, they can consider the cutting edge situation of their technology and design. Then we can run again. And also, it's important to run ELSA scans by different stakeholders in the same technology developer. For instance, if we interview with the CEO of a company, the perspective of the CEO is slightly different than the engineers or legal experts, or so each actor may create different angles. So we can also do this ELSA scans in parallel with different key actors in an organization, so that we can identify different important aspects with different valuable insights of these key operators of the company or institution. So next slide, please. Ethical and social issues are generally different levels. So in the first level, individual artifact issues like privacy-related concerns, data bias, accountability concerns, etc. But ethical or social aspects can be more broader. So that can be organizational, that can be related to the market conditions, or risk management structure of the company, or more organizational. Other legal compliance is one of them, for instance. Also, that can be systemic issue, broader than the organization. So it may be about the economic structure of the operation, or even sometimes ontological. So maybe they are less solid, more abstract, but still it's important to consider all the different levels of the issues to increase the awareness of the technology developer. Next slide, please. From then on, I will mention about the legal part of this ethical, legal, and social aspects considerations of our ELSA scan. As you know, European Union has been really active in regulation of digital technologies in the recent 10 years. And there are multiple legislations in the digital sector, and each legislation focusing on a specific aspect or sometimes specific sector. But this also creates some complication for the startups, small businesses, and they need to understand this complicated legal framework, and they need to know which are the most relevant frameworks that they need to comply with. So in our legal compliance, in our ELSA scan, we can also mention about these legal compliance aspects, and they may increase the awareness of the customer. Next slide, please. So the most important thing for the AI use in agriculture, or IoT technology in agriculture, data. Data is key fuel. I mean, without data, you cannot develop AI tools, or even if you develop, you still need data sets to make it better, train algorithms, etc. So when it comes to the legal framework, compliance with the data regulations are important. As you know, most of you know already, when it comes to personal data, we have already structured the general data protection regulation framework. We need to respect individuals' personal data privacy rights. But also in agriculture sector, it is important to know non-personal data related issues. So we have free flow of non-personal data regulation from 2018, Data Governance Act. If you play as an intermediary in between two different actors, or Data Act, finally, that covers both personal and non-personal data. I will mention briefly about the Data Act with data rights, like the GDPR. Now, users of IoT devices will have rights over their data. And also, we have non-binding frameworks like EU Code of Conduct on agricultural data sharing, and there are some developments coming European agricultural data space and potential future regulations. So in our case processing structure, based on the specific case and specific focus, we need to know all these, and we need to let the customer know the most important legal framework and know about the specific compliance issues. So next slide, please. For the Data Act, it's a kind of a complete regulation. It's really important regulation. Each chapter of the regulation serves a different angle. And the most important part for the data access and sharing related rights, chapter 2, about data sharing upon users' request. So we have 3 main articles: an article by design, article 3, access by design, and article 4, access by request, and article 5, sharing by request. So this especially is designed a kind of complete structure. Article 3 basically says that IoT device manufacturers need to design their interface in the very beginning to let the customers, the users of IoT device, access the collected data sets. If this is not mature, always the users will have access to their data upon their request. This is Article 4. And they can share their data sets to a third party, again, upon the request of the user of the IoT device. So especially the sharing by request is an important right, because previously there was a discussion about lock-in of customers. So when a farmer buys a tractor or a kind of IoT device and they collect data, data sets are controlled by the manufacturer of the IoT device. And when they would like to switch to another machinery, then they generally face problems of locked-in data sets in the earlier machine manufacturer. So that prevents them to move to a cheaper, better service. This is not acceptable from the competition policy perspective or innovation policy perspective. We expect easy switch systems to let the better services gain new customers, so then there can be a dynamism in the market. So that's better for the users and also also economy in general. So apart from these rights, I mean, for instance, in our ELSA Scan, we let the customers know about these, whether they, for instance, if they develop IoT device, then they need to know these things so that they can design the system based on that. For instance, Article 3 mandates article by design. Also, obligations for data holders, Chapter 3 regulates that. So if a company collects data and controls this data, then they need to oblige certain conditions. So for the data sharing, they need to be fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory. And they may have certain compensation rights when the access is requested by another party. So dispute settlement related provisions are also in Chapter 3. And if the a powerful part of the contractual relationship, the unfair they can impose unfair contractual terms unilaterally. So that's not obviously fair, because the weaker party has to accept, or they don't have any right or opportunity to use data. So it's a kind of imposing situation. So, for instance, Article 3 prohibits this unilaterally imposed terms. So Chapter 5 is about public bodies access in exceptional situations. So it's important to know under which conditions the data sets controlled by a company can be accessed by public bodies. And if the technology developer uses cloud-related service, then there is extra obligations about ease between companies. So technology developers need to know all these details as well of the Data Act. And finally, interoperability. That's a general title of interoperability, but participants in data spaces. So as I mentioned, Common European Agricultural Data Space. Common European Agricultural Data Space is under the way. So we will have an operational data space, sectoral data space in the next 3 years. Then it's also important to prepare the systems, technical systems, to ensure interoperability within data spaces. So next slide, please. Yeah, we have all these rules, rights, etc. But this Data Act is a horizontal regulation, which means it is designed for all the sectors, not agriculture specific. So when you apply this framework to the sectoral cases, sometimes there are limitations. The most important limitation of this Data Act is related to the definition of certain concepts like user. The regulation grants all the data access and sharing rights over a user of an IoT device, but the user is defined as the natural or legal person that owns a connected product. So that means if you buy the tractor, then you will have rights over the data sets generated by your tractor or IoT device. But we know that in agriculture, instead of buying the expensive machinery, sometimes you just take a service. That in the time of the harvest, you enter into a contractual agreement with a company. That company comes with the harvester and realize the operation, and they go. So then this is not a purchase agreement of the IoT device itself, or it's not a lease agreement of the IoT device, just an operational contract. So in that case, for instance, farmers doesn't have any rights within this definition. Also, it's common in agriculture that use common machinery via cooperatives. So if the legal owner of the IoT device is the cooperative, then the cooperative managers can access all the farmers' data. So that can be a kind of confidentiality issues between members of the cooperative and cooperative management. So that needs to be further arranged within this cooperative organization. So these kind of nuances are also important. Another important limitation, the regulation is specifically focusing on the data sets generated by IoT devices. Therefore, pure digital solutions are outside the scope, which means if a farmer uses a digital technology, an application, that farmers enter the inputs manually, their observations, day-to-day observations, but the data is accumulated over a time. It's not under the scope because the coverage is only for the product and related service, which means the IoT device and the application that is directly connected to the IoT device, that runs the device, the basically application of a tractor, application of an IoT device, so not the third-party digital solutions applications. So similarly, there are limitations for data holders, but I don't want to take that much detail. Please move. Yeah, basically, Data Act is a really important development for the sector. It creates a new environment for farmers to access their data, share their data with the third parties. But the scope is basically limited with machine-generated data if the user owns the device, if the farmer owns the device. So this is the limitation. Remaining issues are other farm data, non-IoT generated data, manual observations, other kind of data collection are outside the scope. And the most important thing is the regulation doesn't regulate reuse of data. Farmers, users have right to share, right to access. But when it comes to business data access, for instance, just assume that a new startup needs data to train their algorithms, to train their AI. There is no any specific principle or right for them. It's up to the market conditions, and we know that first mover companies, relatively bigger companies, are generally closed sharing data with potential rivals or direct competitors. So that's an issue to be considered for a policy level, of course. Yeah, so this is a broader evaluation. Of course, it's not directly related to our ELSA Scan service, but a kind of conclusion of this legal explanation. Sector-specific data governance should be based on a trilogy. The legal framework applicable for the sectoral conditions, correct, and full coverage of the sectoral situations. That's the legal design part. The second part needs to be the technical design. Standards and interoperability needs to be ensured, not limited with seats. For instance, as I mentioned, Data Act only provides obligations for the participants of the data spaces, but we have the wide farm to fork chain, and data sharing possibilities are big. There is a big potential of big data, but that needs to be technically reusable for other settings. So that's also another policy issue. And the first, an infrastructure. And as I mentioned, seats are under the way. It's being developed now. So under this trilogy, I think there needs to, we will have a kind of functional data governance for agriculture. So next slide, please. Apart from Data Act, we have AI Act. That's also a very famous regulation. Most of the stakeholders are really curious about the implications of the AI Act when we scan ELSA, when we run ELSA Scan service. So maybe I can briefly mention this as well. Unlike the Data Act, which is more about competition and innovation policy regulation, the purpose is unlocking the potential of data economy and providing rights over users of IoT devices, empowering them, unchaining them from the data-related lock-in situations. But in AI Act, we have a completely different legal design. This is risk-based approach. The approach is like that. We have AI tools. It's under the development. It's growing very fast. But there may be some concerns about risks of this AI decisions. So the regulator categorized different risk levels. So, for instance, they prohibited unacceptable risk like cognitive behavioral manipulation, social scoring, biometric identification and categorization of individuals, etc. Also, when it comes to high risk, it is allowed, but it's subject to certain obligations, like risk management testing, technical robustness testing, and data training, data governance, transparency, human oversight, and cybersecurity related obligations. But the interesting design is its self-assessment. Each AI service provider needs to assess their service internally whether it's high risk, and if they consider that's high risk, then they need to register their AI tool into a central EU database. So these high risks are if you use AI as a safety component of a product, then it's the thing. And if you use AI for critical infrastructures, if you use AI for education, employment purposes, law enforcement, migration, justice-related things, then this more strict conditions apply. Also, there are limited risks like chatbots, deepfake, etc. So the obligations are not that much strong like the high-risk ones. And also we have low risk or no risk, minimum risk one. Still, regulation suggests code of conduct for these systems. Sectoral code of conducts are supported. For agriculture, as in a general evaluation, I think the most relevant provision is AI systems as a safety component of a product, because in agriculture we have autonomous machinery. So if they operate autonomously by AI systems, then there may be a kind of safety risk for the surrounding workers of a farm, or I don't know, they may hit to a facility, they may create a monetary harm. So that's important, so that they can follow the certain obligations if they develop AI systems as a safety component for agricultural machinery. So this is the AI Act part. In brief, maybe I can conclude again. Our ELSA Scan service is for the early development stage of a technology, and if customers come to us and ask help, we can improve the design with more ethically sound, legally compliant, and socially responsible framework, so that they can avoid certain issues at a later stage, so that they can design their service, compliance by design. So we can help in different aspects, not only the legal compliance, but also ethical and social aspects as well, as a kind of comprehensive service. Maybe I need to add a note before finishing. Of course, these legal evaluations are not professional legal service. It's not compliance service. It's just an awareness issue. If the customer sees significant legal compliance issue, then they can follow up with a kind of professional service. So this is important to note. Thanks for your attention, and if you have any questions, maybe we have a brief data collection at this stage, Rita.
Exactly.
By the way, can you turn back to the previous slide? If you have any questions, you can reach me at this email address, or our colleague Mireille van Hilten. So yeah, just wanted to mention that.
Exactly. So as John was mentioning, you can find all the emails here. And now we would like also to ask you a couple of questions about the ELSA scan. This will be a little bit more interactive, but I can assure you that the tool that we're asking you to use is very easy. So what you can do is actually either to scan this QR code that you have here. You can do it, let's say, with your phone, or if you're using a laptop, you can type into your browser menti.com and then use the code 24068462. Maybe if I can ask also my colleague Teresa that is online to copy and paste the link in the chat, this will also make a little bit easier for people to connect. And after you connect, you will see, let's say, page in front of you that should be this one. And So I see that actually we have some people online, so I'm happy to see that the that you managed also to connect through Menti. And we would like to ask you a couple of questions about your understanding of the ELSA scan. So the first question is, what can you say about potential performance of the ELSA service? So what you have actually captured from the training today? It is to be the code in case you okay. So we have a first comment. Thank you. So ELSA has enormous potential into the ethical and ethical acceptance of AI and robotics. Which I believe that it is correct. Then Johnny, if you would like also to comment on this, but from what we have heard today, this is right. Then it is also important to look at solutions not from a not only let's say from a technological perspective, and it is
We cannot hear you very well.
oh, sorry.
Okay.
Is it better
Yes,
now?
now it's better. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So what I was mentioning actually were some, let's say I was commenting the different questions that people were writing here. So the first one is about the potential that ELSA has in terms of ethical and social acceptance of AI and robotics. Then that it is important to look at the solutions, let's say also from not only from a technological perspective, and that it is also a key service for artificial intelligence applications. And that we also have a wide range of targets to improve acceptance of new technologies. I don't know, Gianni, if you would like to say something about these comments or
Yeah, it's what we expect. We expect this functional performance of ELSA service. It's yeah, there is no any specific comment. It's
good. So maybe I can ask you another question then, always on the ELSA scan. This one instead is about the potential benefits of the ELSA service. So after hearing the training from John, what do you think that could be the benefits that can be offered by ELSA? I would say by ELSA in general. I say in agri-foodTEF we are using it mostly
other
for
ELSA
that.
services as well.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because for the project we're
But for the data collection purpose, for this, it's specifically for our service. Because I will use the if we have let's say enough answers, I will use this data in our new deliverable as well. So I can request the participants specifically to be more active if possible.
So we have already two comments. So the first one is about the awareness concerning the ELSA topics as a resource and added value for products. Another comment is about the acceptance and then also to avoid risk, which are exactly all benefits that were also highlighted during the presentation. And any other potential ideas from anyone online? So also to have a strong support. Okay, perfect. Okay, very good. So maybe I will move to the next slide. We just have other two very simple questions to you. So this one instead is the opposite question to the one that we were asking you before. So this one is about the potential pitfalls of the ELSA service. Always, let's say, based on what you have learned today, what do you think that they could be? I might maybe make a small comment here. Okay, we already got a comment, so I will I will comment my after this. So the first one is about the time demanding. Another one is about the regulations that are not clear overall in different countries. This is a very valid point. And also because you have exactly, let's say, regional, national registrations, but then also the European one, and we do not have clarity among them. Something that actually also John mentioned at the very end was also the fact that, for example, the ELSA service that we are, let's say, providing provides some recommendations, but then you also need to explore this in more details with an expert. So if I can also make a comment, most probably in terms of pitfall, I would have said this one. Then we have also other two points about the cross-cultural issues. The expectation is to be understood well, good point, and that also, let's say, they might not cover all the ethical issues. So new risks might pop up unexpectedly, which is also a valid point. Okay. I will ask you the very last question to you, and then we will move towards the end of this training. This is somehow connected to the pitfalls. So based on the pitfalls that you have highlighted before, what do you think that could be the improvements of the performance of the ELSA service? If you have any ideas, even very creative, that could not be implemented immediately, but this could be anyway useful for further research and for improvements.
Yeah, any feedback for making it better?
Maybe after this, I will also maybe ask the people online if they have ever used the ELSA service, or if it was the first time they were hearing about this. So more marketing on these services. Good point. Another one is about testing. Okay. The testing about the improvement of the testing of the ELSA service. Then I expect that the comment is about this one. Any other, let's say, creative ideas on this? Okay, so it seems that actually we just got to, oh, okay, another one, sorry. They also share that it would be important to create a network to share recommendations and the common problem. Okay. Even though this is, it could be also a challenge, let's say, because each problem is also very specific.
Yeah, case by case situation most of the times, but we regularly publish papers when we observe any pattern, let's say, then we write a paper about that specific point, but
it is actually a valid point, and then I mean it could be nice, I mean, also to see if it could be, let's say, implementable also for the ELSA Scan service. Now we have the time for a very last comment in case anyone would like to share his her opinion on this. If not, let's say, we would really like to thank you also for taking part in this a little bit more interactive part of this training. And now we will move towards the very end, let's say, because let's say we had a part about the question and answers. So if you have any Q&A that you would like to ask us, you can either write them in the chat. Otherwise, you can also raise your hand, and we can ask you also to unmute and ask the question. Maybe, John, well, as I mean, we are also in the Q&A, I have a question for you that actually came into my mind while you were presenting, and you actually explained how the ELSA Scan service works. And we know that in agri-foodTEF, we are mostly applying it in the agri-tech, let's say, environment. But have you ever worked with companies that also applied it in other sectors? I mean, is this something that is common to be used in other sectors?
Yeah, normally ethical, legal, and social aspects framework is a kind of a solid academic framework. In the Netherlands, there are more than 20 sectoral ELSA labs, from defense to environment, or I don't know, multiple health, etc., multiple sectors. So they are running similar activities, but for this ELSA scan, it's a product of Wageningen University. I mean, this three-step evaluation and iterative process. It's developed specifically for agri-food sector and by us. But of course, it's a kind of open, let's say, structure. It's based on the publication and the academic research so far. So that can be used, adapted to other sectors as well.
Okay, perfect. It is actually very good to know. And in the meantime, we also got a question from the audience, thank you, that says, does the social aspect also include the area of human-robot AI interaction? And in which factors such as trust, for example, overconfidence, insufficient trust, technology anxiety, and issue of responsibility for errors play an important role?
Yeah, definitely there are all important aspects, especially from the social part, social aspects part. Based on the specific case, we always discuss these titles. These are important implications for the society and individuals. Normally, our colleague Mark Ryan is under the participants. He would have answered much better as an ethicist and social side of the research. He also has a great expertise, but I can say basically yes to all these aspects are also highly relevant. Of course, based on the specific case and specific situation.
Okay. Thank you, then. I do not see any other questions. So maybe, of course, I mean, if you have any questions, not now, but also later on, you can also contact John and the ELSA Scan team by using the emails that were shared in the slides. The slides and the recording will be publicly available. So in case you have any specific questions on this service, feel free to reach to contact the team also after this webinar. And in case you would like to also, let's say, rewatch this webinar, as I was mentioning, it would be actually available online on the training catalog of the agrifoodTEF website. So here you can find the, let's say, the QR code where you can access the website. And here you can also find additional trainings that we have developed in the last year that also covered other topics. So feel free also to explore the training catalog of agrifoodTEF to learn a little bit more what we have developed so far. And with this, actually, we would like also to share with you that as we would like also to improve let's say, the quality and the content, let's say, in general of the training. At the very end, you will also receive via email a survey that we kindly ask you to compile. This will be really useful to understand how much you like this training and what you would like to see also in future trainings of agri-food TEF. With this, I would like to thank you again for joining the training this morning. If you would like to be updated about the agri-food projects, the services that the project is developing, not only the ELSA Scan but also others, feel free to visit the website. Here you have the URL of the website, and also you can also follow us on our social media channels. Then, John, I don't know if you would like to say also a very few words.
Yeah, thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity that I can present my our ELSA Scan service. So we are looking forward to any feedback. It's already on the slides. I think this recording will be available online as well. So whenever they need any ELSA Scan service, if the potential customers, they can reach out us, or if researchers are curious about a certain point, then they can always feel free to reach us, and we are happy to communicate and exchange ideas, insights.
Okay. Thank you again, then, to everyone, and to you, John, also for let's say giving us this training today. And yeah, hopefully we will see each other. I mean, with all the attendees also for future trainings of agri-food TEF. In the meantime, I wish you all a nice day. Bye bye.